Hi, I'm Eric Folks, Instructional and Technology Coordinator for Lampasas ISD. Today we're going to talk about Google Docs and Google Drive and cover some of the basics. One of the big questions out there about Google Docs and Google Drive is, what is the difference? So we're going to start by identifying some of the basic features of Docs and Drive and articulate the pros and cons of Docs conversion. And let's go ahead and get started. If we go to Google Chrome, the preferred browser for all things Google Apps, and we search for Google Drive, it will take us to this area right here. We can also just go to Gmail and sign into our Gmail and also get to Google Drive that way. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And when you first go to Google Drive, it's going to welcome you to Google Drive and prompt you to install Google Drive for PC. First, this is not a necessary step. You can do almost everything with Google Drive without installing anything. But should you decide to install Google Drive for PC, what that's going to do is create a local folder on your computer where any file that you put in there is going to automatically sync to Google Drive up in the cloud. So if you make changes to that file folder and click Save, those changes will sync and they will be reflected anywhere you access Google Drive, be it on your mobile phone, tablet, another computer at home or at work, which is very, very convenient. Okay, so you can see I've got Google Drive installed on this computer. I've just done it. It's basically taken me through a welcome to Google Drive. Once you are a little description of how it works, anything that I do in this folder is going to sync to the cloud. So I'm going to say go ahead and start the sync. Notice you get 5 gigabytes of free space, which is usually more than enough for most of the files. The Google Drive folder you selected isn't empty. Let's select a new folder. So we're going to just put this one on the desktop and start the sync. Okay, so Google Drive is syncing anything that I've got in the cloud to a local folder here on the desktop. So let's go ahead and look to that folder. Looks like it's loading for us right now. And it's empty. Okay, we can see that down here the sync is complete. There's nothing in the folder. So let's go ahead and minimize that for now. Now, in Google Drive in the cloud, we have a few different options. Google Drive is like a USB in the sky. It's a place for you to store any file that you want, and there are tons of file formats that it will take. Lots of music files, different images, even videos. Take all of your Microsoft Office files. All of those things can be stored in Google Drive without any sort of changes or reformatting to them. Which makes it nice because you can share those as is with other people or access them from anywhere yourself without worrying about any sort of formatting changes. Google Docs is a particular type of online Office-like productivity suite. So Google Document right here is going to be like a Microsoft Word. Google Presentations is like Microsoft PowerPoint, and Google Spreadsheet is like Microsoft Excel. Google Docs is sometimes used as a general term to describe all of these things. It'd be like saying Microsoft Office, but Google Docs is also specifically Google's version of a Microsoft Word document. Now, the advantage to the Google Docs format, the document, presentation, and spreadsheet, or converting something from Microsoft Office to these formats is that you can share these with many, many different people, 10, 20, 30, 50 people, and have everybody editing at the same time from anywhere they have internet access. And you can see all those changes taking place in real time. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and upload a document without converting it, a Microsoft Word document, and then we're going to upload it and convert it to a Google Docs format and look at the differences in terms of sharing and things like that. So I think one of the first things we said we were going to do in our game plan was to create a folder. So I'm going to click Create and go down to Folder. I click Create, and you can see it showing up right now. So if I click on Drive, it'll show any of those folders right there. So if I go to my local Google Drive folder, you see it's already created here as well. So And this again is with Google Drive installed, having this folder right here. The advantage is all you do is open up things within it, make changes, and click save, and it automatically syncs. Versus the web-based version, you actually have to upload those new documents after you've made changes or download them manually through the browser itself. Okay, so we're going to go into the demo folder and we are going to upload a file. Now, if you are in Google Chrome, then you will also have the ability to upload entire folders straight to Google Drive, which is a very nice feature. So I'm going to just upload a particular file. We're going to upload Google Docs and Drive the Basics. It's a Microsoft Office Word document. It's asking me, do I want to convert it to a Google Docs format or not? So I'm going to say that I don't want it to convert this time. And notice how I've got selected here confirm settings before each upload. So I click Start Upload, and I set that preference that it would ask me every single time if I want something converted under the settings. So I highly recommend doing this just so that you can determine when you want it converted and when you don't want it converted. Chances are you don't want it always converted or always not converted because each offers different advantages. So I have the ability to share it straight from the upload, but I can also share it in other ways as well and at other times. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And here is our Microsoft Word document. You see it's got a big W on it to indicate that it's a Word document. So in theory, this hasn't been changed in any way. We've just uploaded it to Google Drive so it can be saved there. If I click on it, it's going to open it up in the Google Drive viewer. Now you'll see that the formatting of some of the text, the word art that I included from the Microsoft Word document, which I've here converted to a PDF, but it looks almost identical. Some of this fancy word art did not convert over or changed when I uploaded it to Google Drive. At least it appears to, because what I've done is I'm viewing this Microsoft Office document within the Google Drive viewer. But has it actually changed? Well, let's put that to the test. If we click Share, which we can do with anything we've uploaded to Google Drive very easily, always defaults to private, just to you. But I click Share, and right now it says that only I can view it. I'm going to click Change and say, anybody with the link is going to have the ability to view it. Let's even give them the ability to edit it. So I click Save, and it gives me a URL that I'm going to right-click and copy. And I'm going to go into Firefox, a different browser where I'm not signed into Google Docs. So let's say that I have shared that link to that document, through Twitter, Facebook, by email, posting on my website, whatever the case may be. And somebody clicks on that link. This is what they're going to see for that shared Microsoft Office document. So within the viewer itself, it still looks like it's messed up. But if they go File and Download, and we're going to just open it up, when they download that Microsoft Word document and they're not viewing it in the Google Docs viewer or the Google Drive viewer, look, all the formatting is exactly as it should be. So even though in the Google Drive viewer it appeared like things were messed up and it wasn't showing it like it needed to, it actually hasn't made any changes to the formatting whatsoever. Okay? Disadvantages to not converting it to a Google Docs format. This Microsoft Word document I'm only going to be able to do so much with. Like, for instance, let's say we want to edit this. Well, I highlight this and I will want to edit it. It says that I can comment under the view. I can create new documents and things like that. But really, I can't do a whole lot other than download this document. I can't change the font, add extra text. If I click on that space and I start typing, nothing's actually happening. I've got very little ability to work with that Microsoft Word document because it has not been converted to a Google Doc. Okay, I can see that one other person, the one who sent it to me, is viewing it at the time, meaning it's just open. Okay, and I can chat with them. I can't open or edit this. Please convert to Google Docs. And I send that to them. Over here, we've got one other viewer. This is where I'm signed in, and they tell me, and now it's just anonymous because they didn't have to sign into Google Docs. We just said anybody with a link could open it. It says I can't open or edit it, convert it to a Google Doc. So I say will do, and I close that. And so now what I'm going to do is convert this. So from the drop down I say File, and I'm going to open it with Google Docs. Exporting to Google Docs for editing. And so now you can see the icon is not a W to indicate that it's a Word document. It's actually the Google Docs icon. And you can see it's duplicated it and created a Google Docs version of it. So if I go to that and I say, okay, let's share this one. And again, it defaulted back to private, so I'm going to have to change that and say anybody with a link can edit it, and save that. So now I'm going to be given a URL that I share with that other person that's going to give them a whole lot more in the way of the ability to work with and edit that document. So I right click on it and copy it. I say I'm done. And then I zap that URL back to them, and they click on it. And now look at what they can do. You see the number of tools and options we've got up here is greatly increased. So this is somebody who, we're in Firefox right now, so we're in another browser where nobody's even signed in to Google Apps or their Gmail account or anything like that. So they can very quickly and easily highlight that, and they can change the text color in the background. And over here I can see those. Now I'm back in Google Chrome. Okay, I'm the originator of this file or document. I can see that there's one other anonymous user who is now using it. I have the ability to chat with them. I can see any of their changes in real time taking place right here. So if I make a change as well, I highlighted that portion that needs to be revised in red. I click enter, I send them a little note, and they look back, and the change has already happened, and we can put the mouse over it to see who has actually made the change. If they're signed into their Google account, we'll actually be able to see who's changing. And right now we've just got hypothetically two different people editing the same document, but when it's converted to a Google Doc, you can have a whole lot more than two people. Very easily 35, 50 people editing the same Google Doc, be it a presentation, a spreadsheet, or a regular Google Doc, like a Microsoft Word type document. Okay, anything converted to Google Docs gives you this editing ability. So those are pretty major advantages. So we have created a folder in Google Drive. We've uploaded an unconverted file to Google Drive, talked about the pros and cons of converting. Now let's create, title, and edit a Google Doc from scratch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create, title, and edit a Google Doc from scratch. We don't have to rely entirely on just uploading things to Google Drive. We can create things right in the cloud as well. So I'm going to go back to Google Chrome, back to Google Drive, and now instead of clicking upload, I'm going to actually create one. So if I left click on it and create a document, first thing we need to do probably is title it. It defaults to untitled, so I'm going to just click on that. And here's my demo doc title. And the name is adjusted immediately. And so now I'm going to put in a little bit of text. I can pull in images and all sorts of other things. A couple notes worth mentioning about working with Google Docs. Some of your keyboard shortcuts are going to be a little bit different. You know, in Microsoft Word, you would use Control L to left align, Control R to right align, and Control E to center text. Well, in Google Docs, it's a little bit different. You do Control plus Shift plus either left or right or E. So I'm going to go Control Shift E to center my text. Okay, so the key is adding those, the Control and the Shift at the same time. A couple other unique things about it is adding links. It's really easy to do. So let's take a link to this Google Docs and Drive the Basic. If I click on the share real quick and right click and copy that to the clipboard, and I double click on that text to make it a link. I click on insert link. I can paste it and I say OK, and I click off of it, and there's my link to that particular file. When other people are using Google Docs, or you're using Google Docs, instead of just clicking on it one time and it taking you straight there, it gives you the ability to change or preview that link to see where it's going to take you first. So if I click on it, then it's going to open it up another tab with whatever I link to. In this case, it happened to be that other file format. So we've created a file, Google Doc from scratch, titled it, added some text and everything else. Let's make sure that there isn't anything else we need to do. Editing it is a piece of cake. One other thing I guess is worth noting here is that with all the work that we've done here in our Google Drive, you'll notice everything is syncing immediately. It's auto-saving and syncing because we've got Google Drive installed. Everything is syncing locally as well. If I click on that folder to pull up my Google Drive, you can see here's Google Docs and Drive the Basics. If I click on my demo folder, it shows everything that we've created and everything that we've done. It's constantly syncing. Well, even without Google Drive installed, we still have all these things changing, any changes that we make automatically syncing as well. You can see right here it says all changes are saved in Drive. Every change you make is automatically saved in Drive. This is a fantastic thing because how many times has the computer locked up on you and shut down and you've lost those changes? So anytime I make a change, I know that it's going to automatically save in Google Drive. So let's say I decide that I want to make that bold. Immediately it saves it. This is nice because I've come back some weekends after just locking my computer and found out that it had shut down and been restarted by technology or network administrators, and I don't have to worry about anything because everything has been constantly saved as I made changes to it. So I never have to worry about finding the right version or whatever the case may be. I can always go File and see revision history and all the changes that I've made to those particular files and things like that. And I can restore to one of those revisions as well. So pretty nice features. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is work with some of those individual files. How do we select files, move them, add labels, rename, download, preview, and star those files? If I go back into Google Docs and Google Drive specifically, you'll notice I don't have a whole lot of options up here until I actually select something. As soon as I select one of the files, I've got lots of different options. I can organize it, trash it, I can do all sorts of other things as well, including share it straight from here, rename it, and move it around. I could download it as well. I guess one thing I should note while we're on this topic of downloading is that when you create a Google Doc from scratch, you always have the ability to download it as a Microsoft Office type document or a PDF or whatever the case may be. So this is a Google Doc that I could download as a Word document or a rich text, PDF, plain, you name it. So that's a really nice feature as well. So now that I've selected this, I want to organize this. I've just got one folder. I want to create some other folders. So we're going to create another folder for the Google Docs stuff, these two different files right here. So I go into Drive and I click New Folder in my Drive, and we're going to call these this folder GDocs. And I butchered the spelling, but that's okay. So I click back on my Drive, go into the demo folder, and here are those two different files on Google Docs. So if I select both of those, I can do a couple of different things. From here I can organize them. And if I click organize, it's going to ask me, well, right now it's currently in the demo folder, where do you want it to go? So if I click the Google Docs folder, it's going to move them both to the Google Docs. So I'm going to go ahead and click move. You'll see them disappear from the demo folder, and we can see where we are right up here. We're in My Drive Demo, and they're now gone. I have the ability to undo that move. I can click on that folder to see that the move has actually happened as well. Okay, but you also have the ability to not just move files from one folder to another, you can also use labels just like in Gmail. So instead of actually moving it, you're just adding a label or a tag to it. And you can add multiple labels and tags to the same document. So let's say I select those two files again, and now I say I'm going to organize them, and I hold down Control. So I'm going to click 3 different locations where I want those to appear. So it's going to appear in My Drive, the demo, and the Google Docs. And might as well add one more folder. We'll call it the test folder. And so I hold down Control and I select 4 different locations and I say move. Well, you can see now I've got My Drive, Demo, and Test as well as Google Docs. So anywhere I have added a tag to that for any of these folders, those documents are going to show up. So as I toggle through them, you can see that they're appearing just anywhere. So you have the ability to move them, and you have the ability to tag or add labels just by holding down Control in Google Docs. Alright, so we have moved, add labels, told you how to download them. You can select the file either within the file and say download as, or you can also from Drive outside of the actual file, you can select it, and then from More, the drop down, you can say download as well. And previewing is the same thing. We're going to go into an actual file, and from the file we can say, depending on what type it is, let's say it's a Google presentation, we can preview that as well. So let's say we're going to create a presentation, and I'm going to pick a theme. I say OK. And I'm going to click and add a title. I'm going to add one more slide to it. I'm going to drag in an image. And depending on the file format, sometimes you can drag it in and sometimes you can't. So I'm going to go, let's see, Insert, Image, and now I can drag it into this place. Back. Now I've created a quick image, so if I want I can say File and look at the print settings and preview it to see how it's going to look. Okay, and one of the last things we want to do is learn how to star individual files. The advantage to starring individual files is that you can actually view them offline. Anything that you star in Google Docs or Drive, even if you don't have Drive installed on your computer, you're going to be able to view it offline. It will actually download it for any of your mobile devices. So let's say I've got a tablet or an Android phone or the Google Drive app installed on my mobile device. As soon as I start one of those files, it's going to download it so I have access to it even when I don't have an internet connection. And it's also a way to organize your files as well, because you can search in a variety of different ways, including by file type, and anything that you've starred is one of those things that you can search for as well. Okay, we have covered extensively becoming a Google Driver with Google Docs and Drive. My name is Eric Folks, Instructional Technology Coordinator for Lampasas ISD, and I hope you have fun playing with Google Drive. It has amazing educational potential. Thank you so much.